we start? I'm gonna say a lot of time. No, it's fine. You can remain seated, but I have to press this button all the time. So don't feel afraid. I'm not gonna kiss you. We can find a way. Okay, I have to show you this. Thank you very much for the sponsors. Are there any sponsors here right now? Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you for bringing me to the beautiful Sarajevo. I'm really honored to be here, and I sincerely mean that. It's not just because we feel we need to say it. I really mean it as well. So, quickly running you through who I am, because you probably don't know me, and why I feel you should use game mechanics in your business. And I'm going to teach you a little bit about game design and about what we do from a brand new game as a company. And I'm going to do that on a few different levels. So first I'll discuss how you can apply game mechanics for your whole organization as a whole. Then I'll quickly dive into what it could mean for you as a person if you start thinking as a game designer. And then I'll show you a methodology that could help you in teams to create more insights about how to improve your business and how to improve your processes or whatever. So those are, I guess, the three main topics that I'm going to run through today. If you have any questions, raise your hands and I'll be happy to address them, of course. But we have 45 minutes, so I need to rush it a little bit. But don't be afraid to ask questions. So who am I? Well, my name is Bart. I wrote a book about 6 years ago, how you can use games as a marketing tool. My background is marketing and an MBA and an MBM, so I do brand management a little bit, and I know a little bit about running a business, at least I should. The English book is downloadable for free because I like to give stuff, and it helps, of course. I read the book by Chris Anderson called Free, and I thought, yeah, it's a good business model to give stuff away for free. Eventually, you will get something in return, believe me. So what do I do, or what do we do? Because we are, last year I was a one-man band, but we doubled the amount of employees in 1 year, so now we have 2. And I've been doing this since 6 years. But I work together with a lot of bigger organizations. And what we basically do, or what I do, is I do a lot of publications about gamification and serious games and game design. That gives me the opportunity to give a lot of presentations at various congresses. And then hopefully there's someone interested in the audience and says, hey, I want you to do something for me so I can do a project and make money. Because believe me, writing a book will not get you any money at all. Blogging as well. Doing a lot of presentations might give you a little bit of money, but eventually you need projects to gain money. But if we've done a project, then again, we can make a nice publication about it, put it online, or give a presentation about it, and then again, hopefully someone will get inspired. And well, what I'm telling you right now is one of the main focuses of my new book, which is probably going to be called something like the progress loop, because I believe that if you can identify a few key processes in your organization that are always the same and the same and the same, but they lead to progressional growth, then that's something you should really look into and develop further and further and further. And that's basically designed on Farmville. Is there anyone that doesn't know Farmville? Everyone knows. Okay, then we'll go through that later on. So, why use game mechanics? Anyone, any ideas why you think that we should use game mechanics? Sorry? Motivation. So you feel motivated? Motivation. Yes. Fun? Joy? What? Simple? Hey, I recognize some stuff. Fast? No. But time is an important factor. Something else? So far we're doing well. Anything else? What's typical about a game? Competition, sure. Anything else? Result. Nice. Score. Yeah. I'm looking for one thing, which is interaction. It's also in competition. There is interaction. It's not that it's wrong. It's good. But I'm looking for one word. To be original. Why do you get up in the morning? Why do you guys get up in the morning? To what? Purpose. Thank you very much. That was the word I was looking for. And that's basically the purple dot, the aim. Yeah, purpose. We all need purpose. If you feel, I got fired 6 years ago, and believe me, then you feel you have no purpose for a few, in my case, a few hours, because I'm an optimist, but a purpose is so important. Purpose is very important. I got fired. I thought this is probably the best day of my life. I worked in advertising and I hated it, exactly like you. So I thought, yeah, I've done it for 2 years and I hated it, and thank God I got fired. So, and I was writing my book already because I needed to finish my Masters of Brand Management, and I thought, well, maybe this is what should give me the purpose. So there's always purpose in the game, but there's always also obstacles that make it hard to achieve your goal. Having no money, having no house, my girlfriend left me, whatever. So you could think about different, I'm not going to make it too personal, but there's also, so there's obstacles in your way towards that purpose or goal. But there's also actions you can undertake that will actually contribute to those goals in a good way, green, or a red way. For Chinese, also positive. No. Red is bad in my case. And blue, finally, there's a scoring. There's always a scoring. There's always a consequence of your actions. So basically you could say this is life, right? This is no different than life. We need purpose. There's obstacles in our life, but we can do things to influence them in a good way or a bad way. And eventually it gives us a certain result. If you understand this, I can actually stop talking. But oh yeah, games, of course, they're goal-oriented. They're action-driven, like I said. You get a lot of feedback in games. That's something we really underestimate. And also in real life, we underestimate giving feedback. I like your sweater. You were really nice. You had a really nice talk today. I like the way you're looking at me right now. Very intrigued, concentrated, focused. He's from Amsterdam. He's strange. Yes, I know. But scoring, also very important. I wanted to say I like your hair, but I couldn't say. So I had to think about something else really quickly. You
can use my eyebrows.
Yeah, exactly. I love your eyebrows. So, okay, these are some aspects of games, yeah? And most of the games are fun, but they're also functional. You can learn stuff from games, that, like you said. And we actually, the most games that we develop are digital games to actually teach people something, but I'm not going to talk about our products in that way today. I want to help you to start thinking like me and to become a game thinker. So, of course, these mechanics make a game engaging. And of course, what we can do in digital games is that we have a measurable effect. All the slides will be available, so I understand you want to make mental notes, but they will be available. So quickly about Farmville. Even though you guys know it, who got really addicted to Farmville? Is there anyone? Come on, be honest, be honest. Yeah, one. Okay, thank you for being honest to me. Why did you like it so much?
I don't know, it was just, I started playing and I couldn't not play.
You couldn't stop. That's a good, then you know you have a good game. And I will explain to you why it was so addictive. It's a bad word, but still, games are addictive in a way. Okay, the game loop of Farmville is as follows. You have money in the beginning and you have seeds. You put the seeds in the ground. Then you have to wait. If you wait, out comes this flower, and you can cut the flower and sell it for money. You have money, you can buy more seeds. Put them in the ground. You have to wait. Out comes the flower. Cut the flower, get money. Do I need to go on, or do you get the whole idea? So this is the game loop that makes Farmville so enormously compelling. And on one hand, you could say our daily routine as a job is negative, but it could also be very positive, as long as you identify those key processes that actually contribute tremendously to your business, whether it's on an organizational level or your own private level. Find out what makes the joy in your life. So buying seeds, planting seeds, waiting and harvesting. But of course a good game levels up. So after buying seeds a few times, new seeds will unlock, but they're more expensive. Or you can buy some more land for your farm, or you can buy tools that will help you to make the process go more easy. Or you can buy animals that give more milk or whatever. And then you can buy and buy and buy, and you can plant or use and develop and deploy the land or the animals or the stuff. And waiting all of a sudden becomes not waiting passively, but becomes waiting actively, in the sense that you have to protect your crops from, I don't know, birds that eat the seeds, or you have to fertilize the ground on which it stands, or moisturize it, etc. And finally, harvesting and selling. Maybe you unlock some stuff, or you get bonuses, or you receive special items from friends. So this is basically the game loop of Farmville, with all kinds of mini loops in them, like I tried to explain earlier. So, and if you do really, really well, of course, this is your farm after a few days, weeks, months, years, whatever. Does it make sense? So you have to loop to progress. That's one of the most important parts, I guess, about game design. So I thought about Farmville, and I mean, I'm not a game designer. I studied industrial engineering and master's in brand management, but I learned this all in the past 6 years by game designers, and they explained me the magic behind the games, which actually kills the fun of the game, but still, hey, it's a job now. So, so I was thinking, I read so many management books in my life, and I was thinking, most models you see, even the business model canvas by Oostwalder, it's a book that tells you, if you fill out this form, then you have like the idea what your company should do and execute or whatever, or you're done. But you're never done if you run a company, right? And especially when you start your own company, you learn that you are never done, you're never finished. I used to work at Diesel also as a marketing manager, and then I just had a job, which makes it kind of different, because you work in a department, and it's static, and it's like a system. But I was thinking, okay, which key processes should at least every company have under control? So I was thinking, yeah, probably they need to think about new stuff. Explore or create or whatever name you want to give it, but I'd like to give it a verb. So I say you need to think about new stuff. Then you need to make that new stuff. You need to sell that stuff and then improve on the thing you made. And this is probably the three most important processes. But improving is something that doesn't really have a job. There's no chief improvement officer or something like that. So, but it could be something that's valuable thinking about. And maybe instead of departments like research and development and a department production and a department marketing and sales, you should not have the departments, but you should have the processes as the process leader of the thinking process. And I think the thinking process should at least entail 4 people, namely a thinker, a maker, a seller, and an improver, instead of working in different departments. So that's the philosophy. And if you read some other books, branding, my background, we talk about product leadership, operational excellence, and customer intimacy. Those are the same types of process, but again, we forget that improvement is also something that should be in there, probably. So, I believe that thinking, making, selling, and improving stuff are your key internal processes that you should get under control and you should organize. But there's also an external world, of course. So you could say selling leads to people that buy your stuff. You're not an artist, you make something for it to be sold. And if they buy it, they will use it, eventually consume it, so that it's not worth anything anymore, and then they'll orientate for something new. So for instance, if you buy a can of Coke, you drink it, it's finished, your thirst is quenched. But again, I have new thirst, so I will orientate, and luckily, if you do it well, I'll come back to you. If you don't do it well, I will go to a competitor. You could also still then say, well, competition is okay. I mean, we'll buy Pepsi, and then we can still sell a new brand to the same customer who thinks he buys a different brand. So this is the loop that I feel are the 8 key processes. And of course, if you do well as a company, you will hear, after selling the stuff, ask people, hey, did you like to use it? Ask for feedback so you can improve again. And then think, make, sell, and improve. So this is the vision for my new book, actually, that I want to further experience and see if it makes sense. I've been working on this for 2 years. It's stupid simple, I know, but so far I got good criticisms, even from Joseph Pine, who I think is a thought leader about these things. So, sorry?
You want feedback immediately?
Yeah, well, maybe let's do that to some drinks tonight. So, how could you apply it? Well, first of all, like I said in the beginning, find your progress loop. Find which processes you feel are the processes that actually lead to the progressional growth that you want to achieve. If it's not thinking, making, selling, and improving, what would it be? And if you know that these are the key processes, start working on them. And I'm going to show you a way to do that in a minute. So if it's difficult for you to determine which loops they are, I'll let you know. So the whole idea, of course, is to level up continuously. Like in a game, if you play a game really well, the funny thing is, let me quickly ask you guys, what happens if you play a game really well and you go to the next level? What happens? It becomes harder. It becomes more difficult. And that's strange, right? Because it's a reward, actually, for the player that, yeah, you get level up, oh great. But it becomes harder, and that's really stupid in a way, right? But we feel like it's a reward. Yeah, now it's more difficult. Huh? Counter-logical. But yes, it becomes harder. And the whole idea, of course, running a company successfully is to level up continuously. And selling, you could also describe it in a different way. I always say in English, it's telling, testing, and selling. In Holland we say you have to sell it internally, like sell it to your colleagues or sell it to other people in order to test if it's functional. But a lot of companies only think at the research department, then they make it, maybe a prototype, or maybe they make it already, the whole product, and then they sell the whole product, didn't sell, and they say, ah, shit, didn't work. And they stop immediately, instead of saying, okay, it didn't work in this case for this particular supermarket at that moment. What can we do to iterate and improve? And that's really strange. I always find it strange that, for instance, Unilever is a really big food producer. 70% of all their product introductions fail. But then they just stop instead of take the learnings and give the product manager another opportunity to do it better. No, most of the product managers actually get fired. So 3 years of research, 3 years of making and selling something is down the drain. All the experience is gone. This guy maybe leveled up 4 levels during the whole iteration process, but they say goodbye because it was not a successful product introduction. That's a bit strange, isn't it? So we actually fire people that gained experience, and we pay them money for it. So I don't want to claim that I have all the answers for you. The only thing is, I think if you can identify these are your key processes, think about which processes lie underneath them or which people have influence actually on those processes. So you could say we have 4 players in every process or 4 people or whatever, and try to determine who they are and what they need to do. I'll give you an example of my own business in a minute. So what type of people would you put on each phase or each process? I don't believe a lot in discrimination, although in game design you need to discriminate a lot actually, because yeah, compare a football match. If all the football matches all end in 1-1, it's going to be a really boring list, right? So there needs to be discrimination. And one footballer is better than the other footballer, and one is faster, one is stronger. So you have to have a discrimination there. But it's good to look at people and to determine which people do we need to have for which phase. Because the thinking phase, or the improvement phase, maybe that should be the dreamers, the artists, the crazy people. I don't know if you remember Apple, the first campaign which made them really popular was, here's to the crazy ones. And Steve Jobs, I read his book, that was a crazy motherfucker, wasn't it? Beep for the video. He was crazy. I mean, eating apples all the day long and then again, yeah, well, okay. So he was an idealistic person, I think. He wanted to create something that was beautiful and was really disruptive. But then you need a rational person, I think, to put that person a little bit on the ground and say, okay, I like the dream, it's a good dream. Let's see how we can make a plan for that. And then on a certain moment, you have to start doing stuff. Instead of talking or thinking, you need to really get it done. So you need makers, or you need people that actually physically do it. And then finally, you need to sell the product. So you need probably emotional people or people that can transform from a rational, idealistic idea to, okay, how much money is this worth for you? What would you give it? So I think if you find the right people for each process, then and balance them out, then it would really work. Now let me get to you guys as a person, because for me personally, I've been thinking, why do I do stuff and why don't I do stuff? I'm an entrepreneur, I work for myself, no one tells me what to do. I'm successful enough to do nothing for a whole year if I want to. So what makes me get out of bed every morning is of course purpose. But this question hung in my mind a long time. And I'm first going to give you an example, then go through the schematics. But I was in Panama on a holiday and there was this big cave with water underneath it, and you could jump down about 5-6 meters and have fun. So, but I'm not 30 anymore, and I'm also not 40 anymore. So I'm 41 now. But I thought it was a bit exciting, and I didn't really want to do it. But I thought, okay, this is a good moment to test my model in my head. So I was thinking about doing it or not doing it. So doing it, did I know how to do it? Yes, of course. I knew how to do it. I can jump. There's no problem. Then I was thinking, okay, am I able to physically? Yes, I can, I can jump. I'm happy. Okay. Do I dare to jump? Maybe. Do I want to jump? Yes, I do, because then I can test my model. So I really wanted to do it. I knew how. I was physically able, and I dared not really to do it. But then I eliminated knowing. I just said, okay, let's eliminate thinking and just do it instead of thinking. And that pushed me over the edge instead of someone pushing me. Then I went up again, and I survived, luckily. Broke no legs of my own. And then I did it again consciously, knowing what would happen, etc. So I got experience level 1, right? I wanted to do it again, but I was too tired and lazy. So I think I should have done it again to really, really 100% fully focused, do it again. But this is basically why people do stuff. And the games we develop mostly have to do with people do not want to do something, or they don't dare to do something because they're embarrassed, ashamed, or whatever. There's a lot of psychological emotions under these two processes. But these two are easy to fix. I mean, you don't know how to screw something in the wall? I'll teach you. It's easy. It's easy. I can teach anyone everything. And people are most of the time physically able. Even people that are physically enabled are able to do great things physically. You can see a lot of things online. So maybe it's nice for yourself to think about this if you do something or don't do something, to analyze. Why don't I do it? Don't I want to do it? Or don't I know how? Physically not. Or don't I dare to do it? So for me, I started with this presentation saying, okay, my key processes or brand new games, key processes towards success, whatever that is I do a lot of publications about my work, I do a lot of presentations, and we do projects. And to be honest, I wrote in my book, and we have to improve every time. But I seldom ask for feedback, so I finally started asking for feedback, not only to my clients, but especially to clients that don't become a client, so prospects. And I started calling my prospects, asking them, hey, we were talking about making a serious game, I made an offer, but then you never said no, and we just never did any business. Why? What happened? What did I do wrong? And I actually learned that a lot of times it's not that I did anything wrong, it's not that they don't like me, it's just priority changed, chaos, structure, whatever, so then it stops after a really interesting talk for a few times. Also, it's budget sometimes, because making a game from scratch is an investment, but yeah, I know I identified these as my key processes as a small company that help us actually. And if you look at project management, we have a producer now, Eva, she does all our projects, and I found out that she's good eventually in preparing stuff, producing stuff, and evaluating stuff. And if you do those processes really well, you can evolve to another level where you can actually predict what's going to happen in the future. And if you talk about big data, I guess this is what is the way how big data works. So again, this is loop thinking, loop thinking, loop thinking. I don't know if you know this little fella, but he gives me a lot of wise advice. Only strange does he talk. He always said that do or do not, there is no try. And I found it a very intriguing comment, but I do believe that there is try and there is fail. And fail is the first attempt in learning. It's what it means, first attempt in learning, fail. And the other thing is try is very important. I think if you dare to experiment, so thinking or improving could be in experimenting stuff, eventually that will lead to experience if you try and try and try. So, okay. Let me quickly check the time because I don't have any idea. So how much longer do we have? 20 minutes? Until 2. So 20 more minutes. Okay, cool. We're okay. So, Farmville, game number 1, game loop, applying it to your company. Does it make sense? Do you like it so far? Or do you like boring? Don't dare, you can walk out. Don't be afraid, I will not tackle you. Well, maybe. Okay. So the second thing that, the second game that actually triggered me was when I was 12, and I apologize to the younger people in the audience because I'm talking about really old games now, but there was a game called Donkey Kong. This is one of the first games actually by Nintendo on the Game & Watch, which was a legendary game computer just before the Game Boy. And you could play this game, and I'm going to ask you guys to analyze what you see happening and what do you think that the main objective of that game is. I'll quickly run you a bit through it. You see a person here running up, pulling a lever here, then jumping and removing a hook here. So he comes here again, runs up the stairs, jumps, climbs up the ladder, pulls the lever, runs, and again gets the hook. Then he starts here again, sounds like a game, jumps up, goes up the ladder, pulls the lever, runs, jumps. Surprisingly enough, this happens once more. And so you can analyze already maybe what the game loop of this game is. You have to do something 4 times, and then eventually you will see now that he jumps again, and he pulls the hook, and the podium on which the angry monkey stands starts flickering, falls down, the monkey falls down, and he gets kisses from the princess. It's a love story. It's Hollywood, people. So, what is the main objective of this game? What's the purpose?
To get the kids.
Save the princess. It's legendary. I mean, most Hollywood films make millions of this concept. So, save the princess. Good. What are the obstacles? Why is it difficult to save the princess? Monkey, yes, but he's over here. What are the obstacles on a lower level? The barrels, very good. What more? Hooks in combination with the lever, the stick, and one more. Stairs, very good. You guys are really fast, to be honest, because most of the time people have no idea. They're like, what are you talking about? So you're intelligent, I can tell. Okay, so if these are the obstacles, there are a few more, but if these are the obstacles, what type of negative behavior or destructive behavior can you display to keep those obstacles in its place? So in other words, how can you die? How can you fail? What can you do? Get hit by? Get hit by a barrel, sure. Run into the barrel. One more. Miss the hook. So miss the hook, yeah. And yeah, the monkey can't hit you. Yeah, he can throw the barrels. So you can hit the barrel. Yeah, there's one more, but that you didn't see it in the video. If you jump here and you jump your head, you can hit your head. So that's quite destructive. What could be the constructive actions? So how can you actually overcome the obstacles? What can you do? Jump. More. Wait. That's a good one. Climb. Yeah. Something else? You have to move, right? So run, walk, whatever. Good. So, yeah, basically I can help you next time if you get a question like this. You can see the interface. That tells you what you can do, basically. So, so you can think really hard. Hey, there's a button that says jump, and you can go up, down, left, right. It's not so difficult. Okay, so finally, now let's determine the potential score. What types of scores are here in the game? Maybe we start with the main event. What happens if you remove 4 times the hook? You get kisses. What else happens? Monkey dies at the same time. So if you don't like animals, it's a great game. What else? Next level. And it becomes harder, right? That's again a really strange thing. Think about it tonight when you go to sleep. Tomorrow I'm going to ask my boss for more difficult work. Apparently it motivates you. Okay, finally, what finally can happen? Maybe on a destructive level, what could happen? If you hit your head or miss a hook or run into a barrel, you lose a life. Fortunately, it doesn't work in Europe that way. In China, it's different. No. I don't know if you heard the news 2 years ago, someone killed himself, but no. So yes, you can die and you lose a life in the game, and it could happen for 3 times. That's the basic rule. Do you actually know what the name of this little guy is here? It is Mario. It's his first appearance. It is a plumber in this scene in a construction site, or yeah, so he's a worker, but he's later on he's called Mario. So what the hell does this have to do with running your business? Okay, let me quickly explain you why we designed this game particularly, because most of our clients, we work for Vodafone, for instance, or ING Insurances. They don't want to talk about this behavior. So if I ask them, like, okay, what's your problem? Oh, we don't have a problem. We just want a game. It's really fun, and we want to engage people. And so they know all the nice parts about games. But a good game also enlightens the dark side of life. We also need to know what is going on in your organization. Why are you not saving the princess? What's happening? Yeah, management doesn't have whatever. It's always management, and management always says, yeah, the employees don't really get what we. Okay, so it's him and her. It's like a boy and a girl accusing each other. So I thought, okay, first of all, we need a nicer briefing instead of getting a briefing that they don't really have. We need to know actually exactly what we need to do. So we need to make it more fun. So it was literally a fun and functional way that we designed for them to get a better understanding of their business. And because I studied industrial engineering and brand management, I said, okay, let's cut all the crap. If we look at running a business, what is your main end goal? What is your highest goal that you need to achieve, every organization? Profit. Thank you for being honest. A lot of companies say, yeah, customer happiness, whatever. No, profit. In the end, bottom line, you need profit. Maximizing the profit. So more revenues, less costs. Fine. Who can achieve that, or how can you achieve that? By what assets? Which are the most important assets from the company? People. Thank you again. You are so correct. I believe people can work inside of your company, or it's people outside of the company. So basically now we have 4 quadrants that we can determine, okay, dear client, you want us to develop a game, but for what purpose? My first question is looking for purpose. And they say, yeah, we want more money, and yeah, I want less cost, I want this and that. So we get 10 objectives on the table, but I say, I can solve only one today. I loved the example this morning about Steve Jobs that said, give me your top 10 priorities. And they were working 2 days to give the top 10 priorities. And they said, okay, we're going to not do the 7 down. We're going to do only the top 3. I mean, that's decision making. That's having focus. So we solve only 1 per game. Hey, I need to make money. No. So okay. But we first put Post-its on the wall. We say, okay, let's do some voting rounds with 6 people in the boardroom and determine what you want to achieve. Define the princess. Sorry, I'm standing in front of it. Defining the princess, defining the obstacles. I let them write down obstacles. Most of the time we do this session with 6 people of the management team or the board, to ask them what are the obstacles. They write down all types of obstacles, but we determine only 3. And those 3 will end up on the table. So we have 1 princess, we have 3 obstacles. And they can think about a lot of different actions that hold the obstacles in place. Bad behavior, lack of knowledge, whatever of those 4 processes that I mentioned. They don't want to do it, they don't know how to do it, they're physically unable to do it, and they don't dare to do it. Those 4 are the actions that we're looking for here. But also on a positive side, the creators can think about the positive side. So the first 2 steps we do with the 6 of them together. Then I split them up in 2 groups, the killers and the creators. The killers can think about all the negative that's currently active in the organization, and the creators can think about the positive, about the future, how the world would be a better place. Then I let them choose on the other party's ideas. That means I can never push the idea that I made up and put it on the table, for instance, but I let them think about it. Finally, we're going to determine the potential progress if we stop doing this and we start doing that. And it will not surprise you that each session, at least we make $1 million in potential progress that's lying on the table. Most of the time it's far more than that. Let me show you quickly how the playing field looks. So this is literally a physical playing field that we put on the table as soon as we start playing. So we start putting everything that's on the wall, we put on the table. We say, okay, these are the 3 challenges we face. We first call them obstacles, but now it's challenges. This is the princess. So this is the ladder, the hook, and the lever and the barrel. These are the negative actions, or the destructive actions, I call them. These are the constructive actions, etc., per obstacle. And then we determine the potential increase in revenue or the potential lack of cost if we start moving as a company or changing the behavior. Any questions so far? Because this is about the essence, actually, of the whole GameStorm event. So now how do we do it, and physically how do we apply it? I'm going to open the door because I can't breathe anymore. Whew. Is it just me?
Look, you are my son.
Okay. There was my Darth Vader. I had to do it. There's also a small movie on the internet that I made about this, but no. Fight you must. Okay, that was Yoda. No, so I got a phone call a year ago by Foot Locker Europe, the sports retailer, and they heard that I was doing this for small groups, and they said, "Hey, we like the idea, and we always try new stuff, and would you care to talk with us? Because we're looking to do something like this, but then for 40 district managers." And I said, "Yeah, well, sure, but it's designed for 6 people, not 40, but I'll find a way, see how we can do it." So we did it with 8 different tables. We had 48 people eventually playing it. And eventually I ended up writing down all the post-its into an Excel slide to have the big data for them to shape their future. I got a phone call from them again. They said, "Yeah, we really liked it because everyone filled it out, and I can't really disclose how much money they made in potential, but it was millions." And they said, "Yeah, we really loved it. And soon we're going to visit all the 800 store managers, and we want to play this game with them as well." And I was like, "Okay, but I'm only a one-man band, so I can think that it's going to be complicated to host these sessions all by myself." But he said, "Well, I'm not taking no for an answer, so figure out how you can do it." So I thought, well, I'm making digital games all the time, so why wouldn't we develop an app for this? I mean, that's logical. So we designed an app, and we played it through the whole of Europe in 4 countries with 800 people in total. So they basically played through the game, defining their princess in their store, determining the obstacles in their particular store, etc. So they went through the whole system, and the app collected all the data, sent it to the cloud. We have a big Excel file that we give to them, containing all the output of all the different stores. And the interesting part here is now that if you are a retail organization in Europe, and you notice that, for instance, your key store in Amsterdam has the same problems as your key store in Paris, you can actually have them connect together and think creatively about the next steps for their business. So eventually, all the output I gave from the 800 store managers, I gave in an Excel to the 5 regional vice presidents, and I said, "Guys, this is your homework." I mean, I'm quite blunt as a Dutch guy. So I said, "Yeah, you need to address this. This is your homework. Get it done. I mean, this is for you." And they said, yeah, they took it really seriously, and they said, we're gonna start working with this. And eventually they transformed all the output towards their second layer, and I forgot their name. Yeah, that's the district managers. The other guys were the regional, well, I forgot, sorry, they have so many titles. So, but 4 layers, and they took it, and they actually, last year was their best year ever, and this year was even a better year than last year. And it's still sort of a crisis in retail land. I mean, in Holland, the real biggest retail channels fall down, but they're performing really, really well. And I'm not saying it's because of us, but he said directly, must have to do something with it, but believe me, I have 12 other suppliers that claim the same success, so I'm not going to claim it. But it was interesting to see that we first designed this little game storm to determine the questions that our clients might have, to determine bad behavior and good behavior, and to see how we can use that for a game. And eventually, this game storm is an effective tool for change management. So if you have any questions so far, please raise your hands and ask them now, because what we do now as a company, or actually did already, was develop serious games for each of the quadrants and yeah, give them to clients to play with. And it's fun and effective, and but don't take my word for it. You can always ask my clients. But if you have any questions, please let me have them now, because I'm done so far. And otherwise, I would ask you to download the book for free.
Good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
But I do have a question,
You do have a question, yes?
or at least I don't know if it's a question, it's a comment. You're talking about loops,
Yeah.
and I understand, just for me to understand this. And loop is something that is really the same thing repeating.
Yeah, a routine activity.
I understand that. But then you also, I mean, I think it's brilliant adding the improvement
Yeah.
segment on that. I think it's really brilliant.
It's really stupid simple, but it does make sense, right?
Great.
Yeah.
It's fantastic, and I think the thing is a strategy. It doesn't matter. But why don't you use the spiral as the picture?
Yeah.
It is repeating the same thing, but if it's improving, then it's about.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you should show it like this, but it's because it doesn't really. It becomes a really complicated picture, to be honest.
Okay.
I also had a pyramid, and I called it the progress pyramid, which alliterates really nicely. It's a nice name, but then it's a pyramid, it's static.
Talking about the process.
Yeah.
So maybe it's how do you transform from loop to spiral?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So it's easy to explain still.
Yeah.
You're still in the loop.
Yeah,
It's
instead
not
of a
repeating,
circle. Yeah.
But it's about moving from the 4 things to moving into a process that is a constant forever.
Yeah, it's like the second dimensional, I guess, is the spiral, because you level up each time if you're doing well. But it could also be that you don't level up if it's not the right the right direction, for instance. But yeah, you do spiral.
Okay, no, it's just for me to kind of. Because
Good point.
Loop is like for me it's so static.
Yeah, you're running circles. Yeah, yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah, thank you.
doesn't do the process. But it's good. It's cool.
Any other questions, remarks? I have a mini version of the playing field right here. So if you like it as a memento, or take a beautiful stylo, a pen, and otherwise, thank you very much for having me. Thank you. Nice.
And